All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Underground Beer Lab, and they are out of East Syracuse, New York, and this is their Variance number 17 2B. So this is a New England IPA that comes in at 7% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. And this can is approximately 1 month old. So we have another beer here from UBL, and it's their Variance series. So on the side here, it says Variance is a rotational series allowing for deliberate deviations from the norm in our explorations of hop-forward brewing. For more information on the liquid dispersions contained within this can, please scan below or visit undergroundbeerlab.com/releases, which I did, and it basically said this is the 17th release in the Variance series, and they're focusing on the 2B hop out of Oregon, which I kind of know the tasting notes because I also went to their Instagram. Usually when I buy a beer that I don't know much about, I'll go to the Instagram or their, I was going to say web shop, but not web shop. I go to their website and I check out to see if there's any information. Well, on their Instagram, they mention what you're supposed to get out of 2B. Lime zest, melon, and pine. So I'm not going to BS you and be like, I have no idea what 2B is supposed to taste like, because I do know, and I'm not going to BS you. Just how it is. Anyway, let's crack this one open, get it into the glass, and see what we got going on here. So, oh yeah, that's looking like haze, baby. So I don't know if I've had 2B, let alone reviewed it on the channel. I feel like I haven't, but I don't know. There's so many different hop varieties nowadays that I'm not really sure. But man, lime zest and melon along with pine, yeah, sign me up. So this looks absolutely beautiful in the glass. Like honestly, that looks like your new school haze. Probably going to be maybe a little bit darker on camera than it is in person. It has a nice vibrant like yellow-orange color or like a honey orange color, a little bit darker. Very murky and turbid, can't see through it. Can almost like no reflection of the shadow. About a finger and a half of a super creamy off-white colored head, more like an eggshell white. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, you're not seeing anything through that. On the bottom here, it's definitely a little bit lighter, like more of like a yellow golden color. But yeah, murky turbid for days, kind of plays the role of what I'm expecting a beer like this to look like. Let's get a nose. I'm getting like a lime creamsicle. That's what I'm getting. So the lime is there. They said lime zest. Sure. I'm getting, yeah, like a zesty lime, maybe a little bit of like a lime juice. But I'm getting vanilla, and had this conversation a lot. Shout out to Joe Senegali, Joe's Arcade, and other people who I've discussed this with before. But a lot of times the yeast characters in these New England and hazy IPAs, a lot of people get bubblegum or cotton candy. I'm one of the people that get like a vanilla kind of like confectionery sugar kind of aroma and sometimes in the taste as well. And that's what's happening here. And it's combining with that lime zest to give me like a lime creamsicle or like a lime sherbet or something like that. There's other citrus tones here. There's orange and tangerine and grapefruit, lots of citrus. Again, they said melon, not really. I'm getting a little bit of like a ripe red berry, nondescript. Maybe a touch of pineapple. And then there's this nice, cool, like, dank herbaceousness that I would get out of maybe like, sometimes out of a Galaxy, or like the dankness you'd get from a Nelson, but not like that straight on diesel, more just a dank, or maybe like a dank Simcoe without the cattiness. You know what? Take that back. More of like a mosaic dankness. That you get dank berry. This is like kind of like dank, yeah, a little bit of like a dank nondescript red berry. But it has an herbaceous kind of like basil or thyme kind of characteristic in the nose. Yeah, it smells different. It smells unique. And, a lot of these beers can be paint by numbers. Shout out to Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews, who likes to say that sometimes. Especially when it comes to, this style. It's like, yeah, it's a paint by numbers, New England IPA, nothing wrong with it. This stands out from the crowd in the nose. It's probably the 2B hops, but it just has a uniqueness to it. Again, I'm saying things like lime sherbet. I'm saying, the vanilla character is there, a dank berry, but it's not mosaic. It's kind of cool. So yeah, let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Oh, wow, that lied. So I'm kind of pissed off that I read the tasting notes for 2B, because I would have thought that they like put fruit juice in there. I shit you not. This is, let me go back for another sip, but this is kind of weird. As far as I know, there's like no fruits. It's just, a New England IPA. There's no fruits in here whatsoever. it has this slightly acidic and tart kind of lime character. It's way past lime zest for me. Anyway, buying this for 7%, it's nice. I say straight up medium body, fine. The mouthfeel, it's soft, it's smooth, it's creamy. It's not immaculate, but it's really good. There's like a mild to moderate carbonation, a little bit softer than I was expecting, but that smooth, creamy kind of sensation is really, really good. It's typical for the style, obviously, but I enjoy it. Right up front, that lime zest hits me. Along with this slight, like bready, crackery kind of malt sensation, that kind of dives underneath the palate, kind of props up the rest of the hops and all the good hop character on the palate. But that lime zest kind of hits me, right? And again, it's omnipresent. It's front to back, and it transitions from lime zest to like a juicy lime to like an acidic lime all the way through the palate. And obviously there is no lime in here, so it's coming from the hops mixing in with the rest of the ingredients, but it's kind of weird how that's happening. Midway through the palate, I get some of that nondescript red berry, a little bit more of that like underlying citrus. I'd say more of like a tangerine or even like a ruby red grapefruit. There's a touch of a stone fruit in here that's more to the mango side of things. There's like a fleshy fruit. They say melon, right? I can see a little bit of honeydew, but not really. Like just because I said melon and I'm thinking fleshier fruits, like yeah, honeydew would make sense, cantaloupe, but not specifically taste-wise. The finish is where this really shines, and again, that like slight acidic like lime thing's happening. But in addition to that, there's a big dank herbaceousness. Again, it's not quite like to the marijuana side of things. It's more of like just like a like generic dankness with like this basil-esque kind of character. It almost has that shout out to the aforementioned Joe, that brushing your teeth or drinking orange juice after brushing your teeth. It kind of has that like little minty sprucey thing, almost a menthol character. Finishes with very mild bitterness, but this is semi to full-on dry. What I like about this one is it's not exceedingly dry. Also doesn't have a lot of bitterness, but it's not overly sweet up front. Like a lot of times with these hazies, you get punched with a lot of sweetness, and then on the back you're hoping, or at least I'm hoping, that there's a substantial dryness or some kind of bitterness to offset it so it balances it out. That's not necessarily happening here because it's not that sweet to begin with. I think that lime kind of sets things off where it's like, okay, limes aren't sweet to begin with, so that being like the first kind of characteristic that hits my palate, I think it really works well. And even though this isn't like substantially dry or bitter, more dry than bitter, you're not really having that issue with is it balancing it out because of that on the back end? No, it doesn't need to. 7% hides it. I shouldn't say hides it. I just know it's 7%. There's nothing on the palate, nothing in the chest. So like, I can't tell it's 7%, right? Based on everything I'm drinking, I would guess 6.5%, 7%. So it doesn't necessarily hide it, but it also doesn't stick out like a sore thumb whatsoever. So this is really nice for like a rotating New England IPA. And I would say this, my first experience with 2B hops, I want more, especially if that like lime character kind of carries over for all beers brewed with 2B. I can see 2B being like a kind of a hop you would want in like a Mexican lager or like a lighter lager, like a Pilsner or something, where you want a little bit more hop character and more refreshing, especially for like summertime. I think that'll be a fun hop to use for that specifically. Not getting much of the melon. They said pine. Maybe I'm mistaking the herbaceous dankness with pine, thinking that that's what they're saying pine is, but for me it's herbaceous dank. But regardless, this is a really solid beer, and I enjoy it thoroughly. So Variance 17, 2B from UBL. I have no issues giving this. I'm just going to give this one. We'll go high 4.25 and go 4.3. You know what? 4.35. Yeah, just change it. I can do that. There's no rules here. So really nice. I just want more 2B hops. Plain and simple. So really, really solid stuff here. Okay. Price point availability. I paid $4.99 for the can. That typically means that at UBL, they're probably $16 to $18, more probably in the $18 range. For this, all day, every day, give it 4.35, $5 or less a can. I would pay that. It is 7%, so a bit pricey as a whole, but I think it's fine. And then availability, UBL gets distro here in Western New York and through most areas, I think in New York State. they also ship across New York State on their website. So if you go to their website, or in this case, the web shop, see how they brought it all together. If you go to their web shop, you can order stuff and have it delivered. I don't know if they've made it on like Tavor or any sites like that. I don't know if they get any distro outside of the state. I don't think so. They did win a couple medals, I believe, at the most recent New York State craft beer competition. It wasn't this one, it was their variable, I think one. Was it a gold medal? I think it was a gold medal. So I need to pick up more UBL stuff. We do get pretty fresh drops here. I've only reviewed 2 from them on the channel. I reviewed a collab with them and Grow, along with another beer from them in this, so 3 as a whole. And I've also had a couple off camera, but I really like what they do and I need to review more. So if you've had this one before or anything within this Variance series or any beers from UBL in general, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about them. They're getting pretty good hype here in New York State. Like they're very popular right now. Like we get a lot of drop, like every couple of weeks we get a drop here in Buffalo, and a lot of people buy their stuff up. They really enjoy them, and I must say that I'm one of them. I think they make some really good hazies. I haven't had much outside of the hazy realm from them, so I might need to pick something else from them up at some point and review it, but I'm digging them. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.